With 34 million visitors a year, Paris is one of the world's most visited capitals. 43,800 men and women of the Paris Police Prefecture are dedicated to the daily challenge of ensuring the security of the tourists and Parisians who travel around the capital every day.
We have hundreds and hundreds of cameras that provide us with a very clear picture.
The November 2015 terrorist attacks have forever changed the National Police Force intervention methods.
With terrorism, what counts as speed of response?
The capital has a single location for the handling of emergency calls. We'll show you the prohibited zones, lesser-known sites where every day men and women work on the security of the City of Light. Paris has 2.2 million inhabitants and is one of the world's most visited capitals. Paris is also a leading contributor to the worlds of fashion, luxury, and finance. With increasing numbers of visitors, the density of its transport networks makes it a focal point for national and international travel. The capital has relief and security forces that are operational 24 hours a day and 7 days a week, whatever the risk. It's a challenge to avert the threats that menace the world's largest capitals.
Security issues, in the broadest sense of the term, day-to-day security, prevention, the fight against terrorist risks, the protection of our great institutions, the management of large events in public spaces. Let's not forget relief organization, and all that on the scale of inner-city Paris, on the scale of Paris from its immediate vicinity with almost 7 million inhabitants, and for me as zone prefect, also on the scale of the Île-de-France region.
To ensure the safety of the public, the Paris Police Prefecture has several control rooms. Operating by day as by night, the DSPAP control room keeps a constant watch on Paris and the departments under its responsibility. In particular, it coordinates the actions of each police station.
This is the nerve center of the police prefecture. Any decisions concerning public security are made in this room via the prefect, the cabinet of the prefect of police, and our director. Each operator has a number of tools on his desk, a radio of course, but also the surveillance video map that provides a real-time vision of the event and allows for a slightly more objective evaluation. The point of this room is to coordinate manpower and ensure that all specialized services, whether it's the research and intervention squad, the laboratory, or any other means needing to be engaged at the request of the director and the prefect of police, are implemented in this room.
Paris and its vicinity are home to a number of institutions, embassies, historical monuments, and other sensitive sites. To carry out their surveillance, the police have access to a multitude of camera networks. Some authorized police officers may, in just one click, access images from the 50,000 cameras installed by the National Rail and the Paris Transports on the urban transport networks, bus, subway, and regional express, but also all those belonging to private companies who have signed agreements putting their cameras at the disposal of the state. 400 kilometers of fiber optics connect this sprawling network to provide for 55 police departments in the capital or its vicinity. The 19 district police stations therefore have access to this sprawling network for the needs of security personnel, shadowing, or to put a high-risk zone under surveillance. Each police station has a crime squad in direct contact with the command post, ready to intervene. It's on patrol that the police officers fight against all forms of petty and minor delinquency. Thanks to expert knowledge of the field, they track down street crime and any crime in progress in order to catch offenders. Hideouts, shadowing, and arrests are their daily lot.
Each has a civil crime squad. According to the size of the district, there are 1, 2, 3, or 4 vehicles specialized in the search for crime in progress. They have an activity zone, which is their district, and within the district there are focus zones with certain delinquency information they need to act on, or drug dealing with an impact on underground economy or on public peace that needs to be dealt with. And it's the district police station commissioner who gives them their missions and objectives, and they work on those elements.
We're in a sector where there's quite a bit going on. There are incoming calls and what we call the expert eye. Hold on, we'll take a look. They're coming back up. Look. There's the sunshine. I think it's a crime in progress. There's two of them following each other 100 meters apart. It looks to me like the first one might have hidden something. I don't know. I think his mate's calling him. I wonder if he hasn't spotted me. I'm going to check them out. Come and see. Come here a minute. Stand there. You've got nothing dangerous. No ID on you? No ID. That's strange. Whose is this? Where's it from? It's been ripped off. Lionel, we've got a positive. Where's that from? Yeah, that's it. I'm telling you.
Paris, the city that never sleeps. When night falls, a whole new population takes to the streets. It's a turbulent time when anything can happen. La Défense, Europe's largest economic hub, with over 3,000 companies and 180,000 people working there daily, is under close surveillance, like the risky districts where delinquency is commonplace.
Hoodlums party at night. Hoodlums do business at night. At night, with alcohol and drugs, people lose their inhibitions. There's a festive atmosphere in Paris at night, and a multitude of elements that make Paris nightlife eventful. A nighttime squad comprises 1 or 2 vehicles, depending on the size of the district, and they work on that district's local objectives: crimes in progress, drugs, assaults, violent theft.
To help these 20 district night crime squads keep Paris nights safe, the 75N Night Crime Squad was founded in 1993.
The 75N Night Crime Squad is a support unit that works individually within the different neighborhoods as a backup in special security situations and looks out for crime in progress. They have uniforms like mine. Why in uniform? Because on top of their search for crime in progress and their assistance to the crime squad and other district personnel, they can form small units under my authority and that of the officers, rather like a small security police unit, capable of responding when there's serious urban violence, maintaining order and acting accordingly. The difficulty is that an act of delinquency, such as a theft with violence and a housing project where things are getting heated in terms of urban violence, don't require the same response technique. So we're multifunction, and that makes the job even more interesting, but it makes it more difficult too.
November 13, 2015, attacks with a series of shootings and suicide commandos were perpetrated in the evening in Paris and its vicinity. The police were surprised by the speed and the simultaneity of these attacks. Not equipped to respond to automatic gunfire, the crime squads had to wait for the arrival of the special response teams. The official death toll was 130 people. These attacks were the most deadly ever carried out on French soil.
Considering what the unit experienced when it provided frontline response at the Bataclan, faced with an attack that was as sudden and unexpected as it was ruthless, we've already made significant progress in terms of equipment, as we've been equipped with ballistic protection. That's to say, a ballistic shield that can resist automatic weapon fire. We also have ballistic helmets and G-36 automatic weapons that allow a response equivalent to the terrorists' weapons.
This unit, which is on patrol every night, is able to act rapidly to secure a site before the arrival of the anti-terrorist response units. As in the Opera District, where an assailant killed a passerby with a knife and wounded 4 others before being shot down by the police. Always on the move, this unit is on the front line during the different events that take place at night in Paris.
We have conducted several drills with the fire brigade. The research and intervention squad has brought us its expertise and still trains us regularly. So with our equipment and training, we've made great progress so we can give an ever better adapted and more efficient response.
The night crime squads are now equipped and prepared for the major risk of being the frontline response. Their mobility and their ability to regroup allows them to freeze the situation until the arrival of specialized units such as the Research and Intervention Squad or the RAID. Paris suburbs. Paris Police Prefecture intervention units have gathered. A joint exercise is being prepared. The Anti-Commando Squad, the Security and Intervention Squad, the Fire Brigade, and Rescue Services are on alert, under the command of the Research and Intervention Squad. A kamikaze has taken hostages in a bus.
We have a hostage situation, and the extra added difficulty is what we call an NRBC dimension, meaning it's an attack involving chemical products.
The security units intervene first to assist the victims and secure the surrounding areas.
We know this is a possible risk. We've seen it before with the sarin attacks in Japan, for example. So we're preparing for this type of attack. There are lots of units that are equipped with this type of protection, but the Research and Intervention Squad has worked more specifically on this aspect. First, it was the security unit that intervened, and once the risk was detected, we handed over to the specialized units, and those units come in as reinforcement. So I'd say the Research and Intervention Squad becomes the cornerstone of an intervention when the chief of the squad, or their deputy, directs the intervention him or herself. I'd say the main aim of our missions is to save the hostages, recover the victims, and of course, neutralize the terrorists.
It's the Research and Intervention Squad's turn to intervene now, with its different technical groups which use specific weapons and means such as a robot on wheels equipped with a camera.
We have a technical group that works on what we call R&D, research and development, and we aim to have the most advanced equipment possible. The point of the game is to be able to provide significant support to the groups carrying out an intervention.
The Research and Intervention Squad in its anti-commando configuration is the Paris Counter-Terrorism Unit. As such, its personnel undergoes regular training in situation-specific interventions, calling on a particularly high level of skills both from an operation and technical point of view with the use of drones and special weapons.
With terrorism, as we've seen, what counts is speed of response.
The Research and Intervention Squad is the only police unit that combines interventions in crisis situations with criminal police missions, surveillance, identification, and mobile surveillance. Located on the Ile de la Cité in the heart of Paris, at the mythical 36 Quai des Orfèvres, the Research and Intervention Squad, which is better known as the Anti-Gang Brigade, is one of the Paris Judicial Police Division's main brigades. A frontrunner over the course of the affairs it has dealt with, it has forged itself a reputation for skills and expertise that inspired the creation of the RAID's Elite Intervention Squad in 1985. Still today, it continues to combine the fight against organized crime and interventions in crisis situations.
The origins of this squad date from 1964, and it was founded on the initiative of one of our predecessors, François Lemoyle, who decided to upturn the way we look at crime, particularly robbery. Previously, we'd wait until a robbery had taken place and then investigate to find out who had organized the robbery, arrest them, bring them before a magistrate. He had the bright idea of tailing them and catching them in the act.
Since its creation, the Research and Intervention Squad has played a distinguished role in the fight against organized crime, in hostage release, and in interventions during terrorist attacks.
The squad has dealt with a good number of well-known cases, including the release of the banker Mallet, the kidnapping of Baron Impin, the neutralization of Mesrine. It's a squad whose roots are in criminal affairs, so part of our work today, half of it even, is mobile and fixed surveillance in order to catch criminals in the act.
Since 2015, the Research and Intervention Squad brings to mind a policeman kitted out with a helmet, balaclava, and assault rifle who's brought in to solve terrorist hostage situations. But the Research and Intervention Squad's roots aren't that at all. As the name says, the Research and Intervention Squad is about research. The anti-gang part is in the DNA of our unit and is the part that interests me the most. That's why I joined the Research and Intervention Squad. I'm under the tunnel. If it comes through the tunnel, it'll be in front of me and we'll try to cover all angles. For the moment, we're waiting. Things could be triggered in 30 seconds, and we could also still be here when the mall closes.
We don't have separate intelligence, mobile, or fixed surveillance teams, or interventions teams. All that is transversal. That means we have search and intervention groups, as our names say, who spend their time researching for information, searching for criminals, carrying out surveillance, and acting within the framework of legal proceedings for crime in progress, meaning just before or just after an offense or intervention.
The target's just in front of me at the Beaugrenelle entrance. He's level with a red tent. I got a glimpse of him. I'll reconfirm because there's a bus about to pull off. I'll confirm. So we're lucky. I got a glimpse of him. Sometimes we have. That's the other thing. It's accepting getting a glimpse of things and not quite seeing them. That's right. That's right, I can see him. Affirmative. I have the target just in front of me.
The surveillance teams are made up of several cars, motorbikes, unmarked cars, or vans equipped for surveillance. Their main difficulty is not getting spotted.
It's a difficult game. We lose out a lot. On average, 9 out of 10 cases come to nothing because it's difficult. The criminals have to see their project through to the end. You've got to be careful not to get spotted. You don't want to get snitched on. There's a whole load of restrictions that means it's not that simple and that, on average, only 1 case out of 10 gives a result. That's the legal aspect.
Detecting criminals who are likely to engage in organized crime, monitoring them, and catching them in the act is part of the Research and Intervention Squad's DNA.
This is a tactical exercise, so we have heavy weapons and with means of response. A column in which we've therefore included technicians with robots. There's also a dog handler with a combat dog. And we'll do exercises with fanatics, hidden assailants, and with hostage situations, so that we can perfect our progression techniques.
The Research and Intervention Squad investigators are ready to engage in an armed confrontation with extremely dangerous individuals. To make things more lifelike, the exercises are often carried out with rubber bullets, which can cause bruising for the policemen who take a hit. The use of a robot on wheels equipped with a camera as a scout is efficient for the intervention forces when they're in a confined space. The high-resolution camera transmits live images to the intervention team. This saves a lot of time, thus increasing the safety of the police officers by allowing them to identify any hazards before moving into a risky zone, such as a staircase or the entry to a new room.
Ok, un riposte, on se protège.
Once the aggressor is spotted, the combat dog is directed by a laser beam that shows him in which room the assailant is hiding. Comprising 100 men, the Research and Intervention Squad also counts on 350 specialized police reinforcements in its anti-commando configuration.
Individual neutralized and under control.
Paris is home to a number of institutions, embassies, historical monuments, and other sensitive areas. Every year they are the site of several thousand protests and festive or sporting events. We head to the second basement of the police prefecture. We shall show you one of the Public Order and Traffic Division's ultra-secure sites. It is from this control room that the capital's exceptional events are monitored. A multitude of screens linked to the prefecture's cameras, but also to Paris transports or national rails, allow for the coordination of different units patrolling the streets.
This room is the command center, the nerve center, which is in charge of following real-time all the events that take place in Paris and the Paris region, known as the Greater Paris area. The events I'm particularly interested in are linked to maintaining public order, law enforcement, and the movement of official figures.
Orders for the various units present on the premises emanate from here. Police, gendarmerie, intelligence service, and judicial services coordinate their teams here.
We prepared the event in advance. The same person who did the preparation at HQ will manage it on the ground. He's in charge of all the police commissioners and all the units available.
From a simple rally of a dozen people to mass protests, the POTD has to manage 2,500 gatherings per year. The forces operating on the ground have to be ready to intervene at any time.
This is the map which provides us real time with the position of our forces, the position of the demonstrators, and developments. The cameras also follow the events real time. We also have mobile cameras. So we have centralized means to get a better grasp of the situation, the evolution of the demonstration, and to act accordingly. That's it, they're going in and they're backing off.
It launches projectiles in their backs.
Yes. Our final mission is to allow for freedom to protest in the best conditions, meaning that we ensure the security of assets and people of a town or an agglomeration like Paris, which is the seat of major institutions, so there are particularities, difficulties, and specific points.
Experts in techniques for maintaining order, the intervention brigades oversee with skill all types of events. The DOPC has to reconcile a large number of requirements to ensure harmonious coexistence in public spaces, with over 7,500 events of which some present major risks.
No vehicles except the ones with the shuttle logo. As soon as the majority have come out, we get back into position to prevent people from returning to the presidential. What I don't want is to have the return of these tribunes to the presidential.
After the terrorist attack on the Stade de France, enhanced security measures and new procedures for the public were put in place, as well as measures for the surveillance of hooligans.
The control room is manned by people from my division, the DOPC, Public Order and Traffic Division, along with the traffic correspondent. We also have forces from the National Reserve. Here you can see security police taking up positions around the stadium. They're led by a security police chief under the civil authority of a police commissioner. In each sector we have a police commissioner heading up 1, 2, or 3 units, and all that is handled from the control room. We separate flow according to the stand they're entering. We have people arrive via the subway station. There's no traffic around the stadium. We realize that the more we fraction things, the more we break up crowd flow, the more security is increased. The area just behind you is the VIP arrival zone and the place where the players' buses come in, so it's a very sensitive zone and even more highly controlled. Only vehicles that have been controlled come into that esplanade.
The security measures in place are exceptional, both for the safety of the spectators, but also for that of the players. Snipers located on the roofs and terraces, invisible to the general public, complete the security measures.
I don't know if you'll be able to spot him, but we've got one hiding in Jean Bouin Stadium in the passageways who's watching us right now, keeping an eye on us. That's maximum security that serves as much to reassure me as it does you. In case of a major event, we have relatively substantial security measures that come practically from the subway stations and get heavier, focusing around the stadium.
This ultra-modern command center in the shape of a bubble is here to ensure the security of the stadium. Law enforcement agents and surveillance operators can count on over 150 cameras.
This is a unique command center that brings together all the units that work on the security system. First of all, you have the private security part. That's the PSG with camera management, management by the operators and by the coordinator, management of all the security teams, greeting agents, physical search agents, the intervention teams in the stands, the pitch teams. That's 800 security agents for one match on average for a pretty normal match, which is quite sizable. That's dealt with from here. On the other side, you've got the police part with all the police participants, the Republican Guard that does horseback patrols, the security police correspondent who ensures coordination between units at our disposal, the camera operator, the command center supervisor, the circulation correspondent. Over there is the deputy public prosecutor who's present at each match. There's the legal workforce in charge of the judicial treatment of anything that can happen in the stadium, including eventual stadium bans. Each operator has a clearly defined role, and we ensure the management of the exterior cameras and the management of the interior cameras is dealt with by the PSG. So this is a perfect example of operational control of the overlap between the private partner and public authorities. Our mission combines general security, anti-terror attack security, and comprehensive security measures. After each match, you also have conventional work on football match security, which comprises dealing with hooligans, ultras, and sometimes unruly spectators.
On essaie de prévoir et d'adapter le dispositif au mieux, en essayant de faire un dispositif calqué au plus juste pour économiser les forces de police aussi, pour ne pas mettre trop de personnel sur les événements.
This surveillance means that PSG supporters have been allowed back into the stadium and that excessive behavior has been stabilized. Paris is the world's leading tourist port with over 8 million passengers a year. Quai Saint-Bernard, headquarters of the River Police, France's unique floating police station.
We're a service with a dual mission, which is what makes us original. We have a rescue mission that we carry out in liaison with the fire brigade. That's everything that touches on relief and rescue of victims by boat, which is our major activity and requires presence 24 hours a day, police trained in first aid equipment, and regular training and drills. We're also members of the police force, like our land-based colleagues, so we monitor river security and tranquility and deal with contravention reports if something comes to our attention during an intervention.
Over 1,000 floating vessels have been identified on the river, without counting leisure barges and goods transport barges. Circulation is dense and sometimes dangerous.
The main danger is when there's a lot of water traffic. There are lots of boats whose paths cross and which could potentially collide with each other or the bridge structures. The second danger is engine damage to vessels. Sometimes they approach the bridges very quickly and aren't able to pass or manage the passage, and they touch the bridge structure.
Over the years, these sentinels have acquired intimate knowledge of the river and its inhabitants. In the capital, over 400 barges have to be monitored.
This branch isn't open to navigation. There are lots of houseboats that attract burglars, as do any homes. So we constantly monitor those houseboats, and in particular on this branch.
As with every night, the River Police Response Team is on patrol. Traffic on the river is light. Their patrol includes controlling the quays. A call informs them. Pont de Bercy, a man has fallen into the water. The man has managed to make it over to the riverbank, stuck against the quayside wall, soaked to the skin. He is exhausted.
Stay with us. Stay with us. Can you push him? 1, 2, 3. Push. Sit down there.
Upon their arrival, the members of the fire brigade take things in hand.
Hello? We lost him. So what's happened? Did you take something else or not? Can you drag him?
The man, still in a state of shock, is transported on their vessel to the River Police headquarters. The fire brigade provides him with medical assistance and accompanies him to the nearest hospital. Every year, the River Police divers save over 100 people from drowning. Over the same period, they also retrieve around 40 bodies from the river, for the most part suicides. To carry out their mission, regular training sessions are necessary. Visibility in the Seine is only a few centimeters in certain places.
We can intervene at the request of the police services in the event of a search for objects related to crimes or weapons having served to commit a crime. The investigation department asks us to carry out an underwater exploration and defines the search zone. We then set up various means of carrying out a search, which can sometimes last several days. To find a small knife that's been used for a homicide or a safe that's been thrown in the water by thieves. We're at the disposal of the investigation department for all their requests, insofar as they are technically feasible for us.
Well, this bus just went off.
July 29, 2010. At the foot of the Eiffel Tower, a bus parked on a car park runs down the sloped quay before diving into the Seine. Caught up in the current, it crashes into the front of a boat carrying around 50 passengers. Within a few minutes, the bus sinks. It's a rare and spectacular accident. Nobody was hurt. The River Police is one of the key players in river safety, along with the Paris Fire Brigade's Nautical Task Force. The capital and its inhabitants would be very vulnerable if they weren't constantly protected by relief and security measures implemented to prevent and deal with natural risks, major crises, and day-to-day emergencies. The Paris Fire Brigade has to deal with dangers that are specific to the capital: high-rise buildings, facilities built deep under ground level, and road accidents. Its 8,600 men and women make it the largest fire brigade in Europe.
The Paris Fire Brigade is responsible for Paris and the 3 departments in the immediate vicinity. That's 7 million inhabitants. That represents over 500,000 interventions by us in 2017. That's 1,400 a day. Out of the 500,000 interventions, approximately 400,000 are to do with assistance to people, and 14,000 are for outbreaks of fire.
Faced with the steady increase in relief operations in the Greater Paris region, an emergency call platform has been set up, which is unique in France. Every year, the number of calls increases by 15%, but not all of them are for emergencies.
The firefighters are on their way. They're coming. What do they tell you? Is there still smoke where you are? We're in the forest. Let's go.
Here we're at the headquarters of the Paris Fire Brigade, and more specifically in the Operations Center. Calls on 17, 18, and 112 are grouped together and received at the emergency call platform, with a first phase aimed at characterizing the call and assigning it a degree of urgency, and a second phase that allows for the exact identification of the nature of the plight and the nature of the situation reported by the caller.
Pooling the fire brigade and police services in one physical location is one of the platform's strengths.
When the calls have been characterized and filtered in order to be put through to the right service, they're received a second time in the call treatment room. In this room, the room where we are now, there are both firemen and police officers whose job it is to precisely characterize the situation described by the caller in order to provide the most coherent and suitable response to the situation. The proximity of the police officers and the firefighters who handle the emergency calls, generally through a different channel, but who describe the situation, which helps us provide each other with more information.
Each operator has access to the police prefecture surveillance camera network, which allows them to verify the extent of the situation and organize relief accordingly.
We're all very qualified with in-depth in the field experience. Without that experience, you can't work at the operations center. Someone who has just joined the Paris Fire Brigade can't start by coming here to the operating center to take calls.
What's the address, madam? Which floor is the smoke coming from? You know who lives there? Okay, stay at home. Firefighters will come to pick you up.
We have to send relief in as quickly as possible, of course. Within the 2 minutes, we know the address, exactly what's happening, and we'll send out the vehicles adapted to the incident. Our role is very important. Before the firefighters arrive with their trucks, we're often there to deal with first aid without anyone being on site. That's the difficulty. When there's a fire, our callers often tend to want to jump out of the window because they're afraid of dying, or exit via the stairwell. That's exactly the mistake people shouldn't make, because most of the deaths we come across during fire interventions are because people left their homes, came out into the stairwell, and inhaled a lot of smoke. That's the difficulty. It's really taking into account the intervention itself, sending in relief rapidly, but also making sure people are as safe as possible, whether there's a fire or a road accident. We also carry out heart massages by telephone. You have to understand that for 1 minute, if the heart isn't beating, if there's no heart message in case of cardiac arrest, you have 10% less chance of surviving.
Okay, she's still breathing? Is the girl convulsing? Okay, does she open her eyes? Hold the line, I'll talk to the doctor. Stay online, please, don't hang up.
Oui, docteur, c'est le 18 au téléphone. Voilà, c'est une petite fille de 3 ans qui a fait des convulsions. Elle a eu de la fièvre ce matin qui était non mesurée.
The Paris Fire Brigade has this specific characteristic of having its own medical coordination service. This is unique in France. We're the only fire brigade to have its own medical coordination service. The presence of these doctors allows us to help the operators, help the callers, to carry out first aid in the most serious situations.
We're the behind-the-scenes firefighters. We're here to increase people's chances of survival. We deal with heart massages over the telephone, and it's thanks to that, thanks to us, thanks to the people who carry out the heart massage with our help, that we manage to save people during our interventions.
Paris, 5 a.m. On one of the capital's major thoroughfares, a Haussmannian building is in flames. Over 200 firefighters have been dispatched from all the fire stations. Their priority is dealing with the evacuation of the residents before dealing with the fire. Thanks to their rapid response, only 7 people have minor injuries. 2 days later, the Paris Forensic Central Laboratory fire specialists set to work. Dispatched by the judicial police officer in charge of the inquiry, they have to determine whether the fire was an accident or arson. The investigators' main objective is to hear from the firefighters present at the incident, try to find out where the fire started, and ascertain whether flammable products were used to start it.
In the event of a fire, we have a duty team called the General Duty Team, which can be called in either by the police or the fire brigade, depending on the circumstances, to participate in the investigation of the fire, and in particular, to determine the causes of the fire and find out whether it's accident or arson. If it's arson, we help the police forces in respect of the first direction in which to take their inquiry.
The Paris Police Prefecture Central Laboratory is unique in France. Chemists, engineers, and computer scientists work on the capital's criminal investigations. Samples collected arrive at the Fire Expertise Laboratory. The hunt for flammable products begins. They could provide the proof of what might have been a fatal act.
In the ashes, even after the fire, and the fire brigade's intervention, we still managed to find minute quantities of products that can make a case for arson.
Founded in 1878 in Paris, the laboratory brings together 200 experts in 3 areas of intervention: fire, explosives, and chemicals.
Chemical risks come in many forms, and we're organized to be able to respond to them in the broadest possible way. We have a two-step intervention technique. First, we have a laboratory truck that can be sent on site to carry out analysis in the field. Then we can bring those samples back to the lab to carry out more precise analysis of other types of chemicals or improve recognition when things are below our on-site detection threshold.
24 hours a day, the central laboratory provides the Paris police force with special intervention teams.
There's a section of the laboratory that intervenes, particularly when premises are searched. If we want to identify a clandestine laboratory or synthesis of specific explosives. In the explosive laboratory, the aim is to carry out a search on the remnants of the explosive device or in the vicinity of the site where the explosion took place, for traces of explosives that can still be detected, in order to identify the chemical nature of the product used.
When a suspicious package is found, a team from the central laboratory is sent on site. The bomb disposal team has to be able to intervene within 15 minutes on the site of the operation, regardless of traffic conditions. The on-site teams have secured the site. A suspicious gas canister has been found on a pavement.
That's the way things work in Paris. So whatever happens, the bomb disposal team has to intervene to remove any doubt as regards the canister and then have it removed.
Faced with a terrorist threat, the bomb disposal team is called in more and more often to deal with defusing or destroying any device likely to explode.
Paris, as both region and capital, faces strong bomb disposal challenges. We carry out around 2,500 interventions per year on packages, vehicles, and suspicious objects. 2,500 interventions a year, that's around 7 a day.
A false alert. As is often the case, it wasn't an explosive device, but no risk can be taken.
The extremely high level of threat we've been under since 2015 has led to two major developments. We've improved our methods in order to deal with increased risk and our protection and disposal methods for suspicious devices, or even more than just suspicious, devices that are proven to be explosive.
We'll use explosives as a first action on this package. That will allow us to both shake what's inside it and open it.
A detonation will sound in a few minutes. When you hear the whistle, please protect your ears.
Whether in airports, railway stations, or on the railway tracks, their interventions are more and more frequent.
Your attention, please. The D-miners are now working. A detonation will sound. Please protect your ears.
Les comptes à 3, 2, 1.
Security on public transport is a priority. The Île-de-France alone accounts for 60% of criminal offenses on public transports in France. Security issues in the region are even more crucial, as some of the figures would make your head spin. Almost 5 billion trips are made in the region each year. The rail network comprises 736 stations. To ensure the safety of travelers, the police prefecture has set up specialized units. 1,300 police officers, entirely dedicated to surveillance on buses, trains, regional express, and subways, supplement the Paris Transports and National Rail's 2,800 sworn agents.
That's 7 million users every day in the Île-de-France who have every right to travel safely. That's a major priority for us.
34 million tourists visit the Paris region every year. Over 3/4 of them use the subway. Unsuspecting, they are a prime target for pickpockets.
Our brigade safeguards what we call the rail networks, which include the subway, the regional express, the Île-de-France trains, and also the surface network, meaning trams and buses.
Each team is geolocated thanks to a radio receiver it transports. Therefore, the command center is informed in real time of the position of all its patrols. The basement of the Paris Transport headquarters. This is home to the Operational Information and Command Center for the Regional Transport Police Service of the Paris Police Prefecture. It's from this room, which is ultra-secure, that the operators track down delinquents.
This room is dedicated to handling events, which are relative to security on public transport in Paris, its immediate vicinity, and the greater Paris region. In this room, we have several different technologies, mainly video, which combine both flux provided by the police prefecture to ensure security within the capital, but also flux provided by our partners' cameras. Our two main partners are the transporters, Paris Transports and National Rail. Our operations activity processing room teams follow each patrol's activities and are therefore aware of the areas they are supposed to cover.
Over 160 patrols ensure security in over 1,000 subways, regional express, and suburban trains every day.
The uniformed security company is made up of police officers who patrol daily. Visibility goes hand in hand with deterrence. That doesn't stop them from making numerous arrests for offences committed on public transport, in particular thefts, but also drug-related offences or assaults. We have a brigade of plainclothes police officers called the Blast, Transport Security Breach Brigade. They're in charge of dealing with pickpocketing, violent theft, and also any sexual assaults committed on the network.
The police who track down the pickpockets are in plain clothes. There are no cars or wailing sirens here. They wear training shoes and run on foot around the kilometers of corridors that separate the different stations.
We currently have 3 individuals in the station who are checking out people's luggage.
No uniforms, no distinctive signs. These men and women are aces of mobile surveillance and discretion. They have to blend in with the crowd.
The 3 individuals have split up. There's one on the train in coach 18, and the other 2 have gone to the station. That's why we've split into 2 teams. The first team has just made an arrest. I'm going to join them.
The other part of the group has just caught the 2 young thieves in the act. For the third individual who got on the train, it's only a matter of time. He has been identified.
Do you have 5 minutes to take
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah. Because we need your declaration on paper.
Okay.
The 2 individuals spotted the victim with a telephone in his pocket. They followed him along the corridors. They moved in close, trying to hide what they were doing. While the one hid what his accomplice was doing, the other took the phone from the victim's pocket and turned to run away. We were just behind them. We apprehended them and spoke to the victim, who confirmed that it was effectively his phone.
I knew that the police patrolled in the subway, but I didn't know that they were by me at that moment. I'm really happy.
Last year, 2,130 criminals were arrested on Paris public transport, either caught red-handed by the Transport Brigade police or after having committed a theft or aggression and having been identified and located thanks to the video protection system that spans the subway and regional express trains.
The Video Patrol Unit's mission is primarily to detect high-risk profiles who are likely to commit thefts. This unit has dedicated personnel at its disposal in a vehicle above ground. They are guided directly by the video operators who ensure tracking of suspect individuals until they are apprehended. To do that, they need extensive experience of the terrain, knowledge of the transporter's routes, and also great dexterity in the manipulation of the computer tools available to us, so that we can follow an event from start to finish.
Public transport, whether underground or on the surface, is a priority in Parisian daily life. Every day, over 4 million motorized journeys are made between Paris and its suburbs, and more than 3 million in the capital. 1.2 million vehicles travel on the 35-kilometer-long ring road every day. Under the cobblestones of the Ile de la Cité, the police prefecture has a unit dedicated to improving traffic flow. It implements daily traffic management plans for Paris. It's one of the most essential missions to maintain a form of entente cordiale between car drivers, cyclists, and pedestrians on the Paris streets.
Here you are in the Regional Traffic Information and Command Center. As the name indicates, it's dedicated to regulating traffic flow and also coordinating all the plans. Snow plans, flood plans, pollution plans, and any regional incidents.
Il y a un kit de 39, il y a le 208 qui va venir à votre niveau pour vous renforcer.
We are responsible for Paris and the immediate vicinity, as well as the key arteries of the greater Paris region. That's quite a large area of 1,700 kilometers that we have to take care of with respect to traffic, and that we monitor using our network of area video protection plan cameras. On that basis, we give our instructions to our teams on site.
Whenever a problem is detected, a team is dispatched to restore traffic flow. In the event of a major incident, traffic is diverted to leave the roads open for rescue services and the police force.
We have hundreds and hundreds of cameras that provide us with this very clear picture. $12 million inhabitants, 34 million tourists, 6,500 events, 1,600 kilometers of regional express network, 210 kilometers of subway, 2,100 kilometers of roads.
We have to reassure our fellow citizens, reassure the visitors who come to Paris, yet Paris must not become a bunker, which means that we need a balanced approach, an approach where it's essential to remain vigilant without lapsing into hysteria.
So that Paris may continue being Paris, and so that each and every one may safely take advantage of freedom of movement, these men and women constantly keep watch to avert the increasing number and variety of threats facing the world's great capitals.